Now let's talk about politics, because at the highest level of this thing, it's really what it boils down to. Julia Manchester is a national politics reporter for The Hill, and she joins us now. Julia, thanks for being here. I want to start with where the federal government is or isn't in all of this. We're talking, this has been going on for months now, and no one is stepping in at a higher level to decide whether or not this should be happening. Why?
Yeah, it's a good question. And this is something the Biden administration has gotten a lot of pushback to, that they haven't taken an aggressive enough role to really provide border patrol, border resources at the border with the funds and the resources to figure out, how to house these migrants, how to, figure out where they settle or recommend where they settle. So, but at the same time, though, we can't ignore the politics of this. This is a Republican governor from a Republican state of Texas sending these migrants to 3 democratically run cities, Washington, D.C., Chicago, and New York. So there definitely is a political element to this, but it's an issue that the Biden administration has really been grappling for quite some time now.
Well, and Greg Abbott is making a point here. The governor of Texas is saying that just because we are located on the southern border doesn't mean this is just our problem. This is a nationwide problem. So I'm going to send these folks to other places around the nation, and they can deal with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And look, I think this is Greg Abbott, someone who is up for re-election later this year, really trying to zero in on, an issue that a lot of Republicans have used as a major midterm issue, and that is the situation at the southern border. Look, this is something that's really been a thorn in the Biden administration's side, how to deal with these migrants, how to figure out where they settle, to give them the resources they need to settle safely. And to, Republicans and a lot of conservatives would say to make sure, we're settling these migrants and making sure, they're in safe places and such. However, look, I think this is very political at its core. This is Greg Abbott very much trying to make a statement. But I will say this, I don't think the mayors of Chicago, Washington, D.C., and New York City are very happy about this. They're viewing this as political. We've seen Eric Adams very much hit back against this, for example, saying that it's not necessarily fair for New Yorkers to have to, essentially at the end of the day, pay for, the migrants and such that are being intentionally shuttled to New York City. So we've seen them hit back politically. And Eric Adams, for example, is saying he wants to send a bus of people down to Texas to knock on doors to make sure Greg Abbott isn't reelected in November. So a lot of different pieces to this.
Well, as you said, it's political. I mean, the state of Texas has 28 million people. They just sent 95 people from the southern border up to Chicago. Chicago's metro area has about 8.9 million people. They can absorb 95 people. The city of New York, 8.38 million people. They can also absorb, a few more thousand. But I wonder if all of this stops after November. If Governor Abbott defeats Beto O'Rourke, he is reelected, he's got no more political points to make. Does this just stop? Is it that political, or do you think this is something that will continue into 2023 and potentially beyond?
I think it's something that could continue into 2023 and beyond. Look, I think it depends on first of all, the conditions at the southern border. And like you said, what happens with Greg Abbott, whether he wins re-election or not. Well, and we'll also have to see how successful, the border is for Republicans to campaign on. And we are actually seeing a lot of Democrats, Mitch, on the border, Democrats facing re-election, like Mark Kelly, for example, in Arizona, Henry Cuellar in South Texas, very much try to talk more about this issue. So, you hear a lot of Democrats along the border saying, look, this is a big issue. And also other Democrats, Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire, for example, has talked quite a bit about this issue as well. Democrats are really trying to zero in on this as well. So I think it depends on the conditions of, at the border and, what Democrats do with this going forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is it would be a tragedy if they do all of this and affect these people's lives and then just drop it like it's hot after the November elections. It's just not the right thing to do. This is a real problem that needs a real solution, and I hope that it continues beyond elections. I hope that it means more than just winning an election. Julia Manchester, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.